getting this important cause out to the most amount of people. And of course, thank you to all of the volunteers that have been here since early this morning. I'm meteorologist Anthony Parnell. I have been doing the weather for Global News for about 15 years here in Toronto. I've also been working with Jody and Engage and Change for about the same amount of time, and it really is a good fit. Being the chief meteorologist, talking about the weather, talking about winter conditions and how it affects people that have homes, people that have proper gear. I've been out in storms and I end up feeling cold, and I can't even imagine not going home and having a hot shower and being able to warm up. And I know a lot of people have been here since about 9 this morning, and we're in a warehouse. We're not out on the streets, but we're still feeling like it's almost cold to the bone. And imagine not being able to shake that. And of course, all of these kits that we've made today isn't going to cure the problem, but we're going to hear a little bit more about how it's helping the situation and how maybe we can do more and hopefully are doing more in the days and months ahead to make this less of a problem. And I guess the best person to talk a little bit more about this is somebody who's been working so hard, always works hard, but especially around this time of year. It is Jody Steinhauer, who is the founder, president of Bargains Group, and founder of Engage and Change. So Jody, tell us maybe a little bit more about Engage and Change, all the work that's been going on behind the scenes, and what's happening here today.
Well, thank you. I'm not as tall as Anthony. Thank you very much to everybody who's here. And homelessness is a really serious problem. We hear about it in the news every day. The first thing I want to tell you about Engage and Change is it's a bunch of business people who've gotten together and said this isn't right. And I first want to applaud my incredible board with a special shout out to Rhonda Best, the chair of the board. Without these business people coming together, this wouldn't happen. And the main thing that I really want to talk to you about is a good story. There is a solution to homelessness. So remember, there's a solution. Does anybody know what it is? One word. Housing. Gold star. Housing and support services can ensure that next year we will not be celebrating our 25th anniversary of Engage and Change. So we need to get that message out. We need housing and support services, but until we do, Engage and Change is committed. All of the people you see here today, and some of them I'm going to give special shout outs. First of all, Apex Global Logistics for hosting us today, and Andrew's come on board to allow us to be up here and do this, so thank you so much. CIBC, who's been involved from day one, Perimeter, Origo, Anthony Furnell, Toronto Real Estate Board, Scotiabank, RBC, Kithra Cause Bargains Group, Meridian, Capital One, Cummings, Procore, Optimus, Toques from the Heart. I could go on and on. There are so many people that have come together to make this project work. And you, Joe Public, who want to help out and don't know where to go. The sad thing is, when we started this project, we did 1,000 kits, and we thought we looked after everybody. Just to give you an idea of numbers, last year was the largest amount of kits was ever asked for. It was 19,000 kits. This year, 29,000 kits were asked for. It's horrific out there. Almost 250 organizations, programs within 2 hours of the GTA are begging us for more kits. So today, we're getting 3,000 out on the streets to over 200 frontline social service agencies so that nobody will hopefully ever die on our streets again. There have been 2 deaths, and that shouldn't happen in a city like this. So behind us, there's agencies pulling up and loading, the vehicles are being loaded, and they are going to have the supplies so that they can get right out there to the people. Our shelters are full. When someone comes to a shelter right now and they can't get a bed, at least they can hopefully give them a kit to survive a night like tonight. So thank you for all of you. And Anthony, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Jody. And yeah, Jody deserves a big round of applause. he's got it done. So now, next up, I do want, I see Toronto Police is here today. I want to invite up Sergeant Pat Robitaille, Sergeant of 13 Division Community Response Unit, to just say a couple of words about the Toronto Police and their ability to kind of help the situation as well. So, thanks.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We're honored to be part of this event. The project is vital, especially on a day where the temperatures dropped about 10 degrees overnight, and the temperatures have been fairly mild most of the winter. Understanding that shelter spaces may be at capacities, our officers are routinely and on a daily basis engaging with people that may be the active beneficiaries of these backpacks. The other community agencies that will be with us and sharing for that is hopefully a place where someone might find themselves a bit of comfort and warmth, engage with someone that might be able to steer them in the right direction to engage with the resources that are available through the city partners. And we're honored to be part of this event and to help out and make as many packs as we can, and then help share those packs with people that will directly benefit from those packs. So thank you very much for us and participating in this event. We're glad to be here.
Thanks, Sergeant Robitaille. Everybody plays an important role, and obviously we couldn't be here today without a lot of volunteers, a lot of organizations helping out as well. And I do want to invite up now Clovis Grant. He's the Chief Executive Officer for 360 Kids. And oftentimes when we think of homelessness, we think of it being a downtown core problem. We think of it being right downtown in the middle of the action. But I mean, we're up here in Vaughan, and this is not just a Toronto issue. This is expanded out, kind of like urban sprawl, homeless sprawl as well. It's now encompassing the 905, encompassing so many different areas. So you have to think of it more as a big picture. We need houses. Obviously, we need more houses downtown, but we need them everywhere, and we need it quickly. So Clovis Grant, I'm just going to invite you up to just say a few words. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Anthony, and also Jody. I so thank you for the work that you do and have been doing and continue to do. And I'm going to echo some of what Anthony just talked about with respect to the 905. So York Region is an expansive area north of Toronto, and our organization's been doing its work for over 30 years. And 30 years ago, when the organization first began, there was a lack of understanding and a lack of awareness about the issue of youth homelessness. And typically what was happening was, if you were a young person, and I'm talking if you're between 16 and 24, you would either end up in an adult facility, emergency facility, or they'll be going to Toronto. Frankly, that's how services were. Here we are, fast forward 30 years later, we still have a growing issue of homelessness here in York Region. We certainly have a lot more services and supports, but certainly not for the need. And when you add in something called COVID, we have an extra layer of challenges. So awareness is one of the biggest issues that we face in the 905, because you don't actually necessarily see it visibly on the street, but you talk to the outreach workers, you talk to organizations that are serving this population. It is a growing reality, it's a growing need, and what we're seeing, our younger youth, the mental health needs are really high. The racialized young people are also an issue that we have to address. And couch surfing is really one of the ways that you see homelessness happening. You don't see it necessarily on the street, but these are young people who are going from one person's house to another, trying to stay warm. And so we need to recognize and change sometimes how we think about young people. And we need specific solutions for young people, because young people's needs look very different than adult needs. And Jody said it so well, that we need housing, we need wraparound services. And that's what 360 Kids does. And our ability to meet those needs are ever changing, ever evolving, because the needs of young people are evolving. You know, when we started out as just providing housing, And now our services, we provide a 23 plus program, serve about almost 2,000 youth every year because the need is there. And we have programs like our Night Stop program, where this is an opportunity for people in the community who have spare bedrooms can offer solutions to housing. You know, we don't need new and innovative ideas because we have what we need. We just need willpower. We need people to be aware of the needs and understanding that our young people deserve it. And I really want to punctuate a couple of points here. That we need greater awareness. We need to wrap those services around our young people, and that's what we do. We provide interventions with gangs. We provide interventions for survivors of human trafficking. We provide supports for young people with mental health challenges. We need all of these downstream services, but we also need to think more about the upstream services. We need to prevent homelessness. We need to move away from providing just supports when the young person becomes homeless, but what if we can prevent a young person from becoming homeless in the first place? And that's the work that we also need to do. Yes, let's wrap those services around, but let's think about how we can prevent young people from actually becoming homeless. And so that's working with community, that's working with the schools, working with our systems to address those issues that sometimes make the experience at home so challenging for young people. Let's provide the supports to families who are experiencing financial distress, because that's a driver. Let's think about solutions that can help bring families together, because family breakdown is the biggest cause of youth homelessness. So let's think about how we can prevent young people. And in fact, I'll end with this. That's one of the work that we're doing now. We've got a collaborative of about 30 organizations, service providers within the region that's looking at how we can work more closely together to address the issue of prevention. And a very important partner in that conversation are young people themselves. And I'm going to invite Kayla to come and talk about how we are working together as service providers and with young people to hear their voice, to actually think about how we can do more around prevention. So I just want to say again, thank you for putting together these kits. They're so needed and necessary during this time, but let's also think about how we can prevent homelessness. Kayla.
Thank you so much, Davis, and thank you everybody for being here and hearing this important message. It is such an important message that needs to be heard by everyone. And you know, as Clovis said, this is youth homelessness is not talked about very often, especially in York Region. We see it a lot, homelessness in Toronto, of course. But a lot of the homelessness that you struggle with in York Region is kind of behind the scenes, not really as out in the open, but it's there, and our youth are living it every day. And you know, I'm here today to speak and do my best to share a little bit about the youth and have their voice emphasized. So, as Clovis mentioned, there's so many layers behind why does a youth become homeless, and the reality is a lot of it is in our control, some of it isn't in our control, but the biggest thing is awareness and becoming aware of this issue and having it talked about. Having mental health, addiction, family breakdown, bullying, gang involvement, all of these things are real, and our youth are dealing with it every day. And unfortunately, the way that a lot of our youth deal with this is not by asking for help, because they don't know who to ask for help, they don't know where the resources are, but the resources are here, right? So it's getting them to the people in need, and that starts with talking about it and realizing that it's happening, right? Especially where we're not seeing it in front of our face. Some youth don't even know that they're homeless. They don't even know that's something they're struggling with, or that they're at risk of homelessness. And some of those things include couch surfing, right? They don't even know that that I don't have a safe home, or they're not able to comprehend what that really means. And therefore they're not asking for help, right? And they're not getting those resources. because nobody knows. You may show up to school and you may look like you're doing all the right things, or you may not, and we think kids want to be defiant, and I'm telling you, they don't, right? Nobody wants to feel that way. And nobody wants to feel alone, and that's what that feels like when a youth doesn't have anyone to turn to, anywhere to go. There's two parts of having a safe home, right? That is emotional and physical safety and well-being. So once again, a youth may not realize, a young person may not realize that their home is not safe because they've been their whole life emotionally unsafe. They don't know that isn't something that they should be experiencing at a young age. And that's one of the many things, one of those layers that leads to folks falling through the cracks is the reality, right? And we're here to emphasize that there are resources out there. The youth strategy is one of them, that we have YouTube videos that we put out on tenancy rights for youth. It's on the CAMH YouTube page. We're going to be coming out with a call to action asking youth directly for their innovative ideas on what their strategy is to prevent and combat homelessness. We have people who care. People do care, people want to care, people are compassionate, we have love in our hearts. It's getting this message out there that this is what is happening. Whether it's on the street or it's behind closed doors, it's a huge issue that needs to come to light. And I'm going to leave with this, that everybody wants to feel connection, and the definition of human connection is feeling safe, heard, and valued, right? And we all deserve that, no matter what your background, no matter what you're involved with in your life, whether it's mental health, addiction, bullying, gang involvement, it doesn't matter what it is. We all deserve that, right? That's all that any of us are looking for deep down. And once again, here to reiterate that there's many youth that we may not realize are suffering and just looking to feel safe, right? In all ways, as we all deserve. So thank you again, and I really appreciate everybody that's here today.
Thank you so much, Kayla, for telling us a little bit about the stories that are out there. And I do just want to end on that. It is a stigma issue. It is so much more than that. It affects youth. It affects those that are older. But if it starts when you're a child, it becomes very, very difficult to get out of it. And sometimes just hope is all that they're looking for. And these kits give a little bit of hope that somebody's caring just a little bit, enough so that you're not going to die on the streets. So I know Kayla's going to be around. I know Clovis is going to be around. Jody as well. So if any of the media organizations have any questions, you can ask them now, or you can ask them privately after. But a big thank you to everyone, all of the volunteers. That food smells delicious, I will say. Thank you all so much. And it's so great to be back in person, all together. And I don't want to say this for the 25-year anniversary next year. I know we're going to be back, but I'm hoping that we can get those numbers of kits requested down. We made 3,000 today, and this is everything that's involved in it right here, but of course it's a much longer process to get all this put together, and we'll be out in the summer as well doing Project Water. So thank you once again, and have a great rest of your weekend.
There's the kit right there. Lots of different items in it. Sleeping bag, toque, little personal note. This one says dream big, socks. All types of toiletries, toothpaste, toothbrushes, razors, hand warmers, pocket tissues, deodorant, some candy. There's even a deck of playing cards in there. They all go in these backpacks. just a tremendous amount of people out here today helping. Thank you to all the people that are helping. It's a huge warehouse. There's food going on down there because people have been out here. People have been out there working all morning here. It's the registration table. This is where all the kids back here were packed. And there is a pile of backpacks that are packed. They're put into these boxes here. And then they go out to the shipping dock here. And up to 200 social service agencies will be coming in and taking these kits and these backpacks. You can see they're lined up out there. Everyone matters. There's Oxford County Community Truck right there, and they're all being kind of loaded out there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. If you care to donate online, it's engageandchange.org. It's a registered charity. And we'll sign off here from a warehouse up in Concord, also really close to Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. Thanks for watching.